Laffy Taffy, a chewy, gooey treat with a little joke written on the wrapper, a mainstay in trick-or-treat bags during Halloween. And despite the fact that nearly every American has tried this candy at least once, no one seems to know where the candy actually comes from, and why it differs so much from other taffy throughout history. Let's start with the basics, a quick overview on the history of taffy. One of the earliest references to taffy is from the Oxford English Dictionary in 1817, where it was described as a treacle, uncrystallized syrup made with refining sugar, thickened by boiling, and made into hard cakes. Treacle was a cheap ingredient routinely used to bake cakes and gingerbread during the Middle Ages. It was also considered medicinal, which is probably why it became one of the most popular sweeteners during those times. Molasses took more time to become a sweetener, probably due to the lack of resources available to manufacturers. However, most words surrounding this topic of taffy were used long before they appeared in print form. Taffy is an old candy, with cooks having access to all its basic ingredients during the Roman occupation of Europe. But to be more specific, toffee is the British term for the candy formerly known as taffy, and possibly derives from the word taffia, which was a cheap West Indian rum made from molasses and originally used flavored candy. It also could have originated from the earlier spelling of the word toffee, in reference to the tough and sticky texture of the candy. The older name continues to be used in the US, but British toffee and American taffy aren't exactly the same. Welsh forms of toffee are much more like the American variant taffy and are usually pulled, whereas that practice is mostly extinct in modern England. Whatever it was called, taffy was a simple treat to make, consisting of treacle or molasses, butter or oil, and sometimes flour. Northern European cooks usually used butter rather than oil because it was more readily available to them. This made the treat a more richly flavored confection. It also could have been consumed as a seasonal dish, notably for Halloween or All Souls. This is when butter and honey, a treacle and molasses substitute, would have been abundant. By the 1840s, candy pulls had become popular all over, but by the 1870s, taffy bakes, along with those taffy pulls, which they were called back then, became a centerpiece on social occasions for young people. Taffy pulls during Christmas or New Year's was also a Welsh tradition around that time. The purpose of pulling the candy is to add air into the taffy, so that the millions of air bubbles that form add volume to make the candy larger. Pulling also gives the taffy a thick and tacky texture. Saltwater taffy began to appear towards the end of the 19th century, particularly at the Atlantic City Boardwalk in New Jersey, where it's still available to this day. This was a chewy confection made of sugar, butter, and flavoring, and a typical souvenir to take home from your visit to the boardwalk. Saltwater taffy is popularly credited to Frelinger's, a shop at the boardwalk present during the 1880s. However, many historians contest that although Frelinger's was one of the first places to manufacture the confection, they did not create it. By all accounts, the store made saltwater taffy more popular than anywhere else. The confection also may have come from the James Candy Company, which was the first to sign a contract with casinos, allowing them to sell the candy in their shops. The name Saltwater Taffy comes from an Atlantic City fable of where a nor'easter, or a storm from the north, hit the boardwalk and flooded a taffy stand with salt water. The next day, a girl went to the stand and asked what they had for sale. The person running the stand replied, quote, "All I have for sale is saltwater taffy," and so the name was born, with Frelinger's elaborating on other creative names for the taffy, such as Ocean Wave and Seafoam. Although it has a different name, saltwater taffy is virtually the same as regular taffy. This is the kind of taffy that Laffy Taffy is made up of. The history of the brand begins with Beich's Candy Company, founded by Paul F. Beich in 1893. The groundwork for the company was laid when Beich and his business partner persuaded Milton Hershey to move his Lancaster caramel plant from Chicago to Bloomington, 130 miles away. The reason was that it was closer in proximity to dairy farms, ensuring a fresh and affordable supply of milk for their candies. However, they were given a golden opportunity as Hershey was gearing up to go all in on milk chocolate, buying the Lancaster Caramel Company from him in 1899. Then, by 1905, Beich had bought out his partners and was the only one running what had become the Paul F. Beich Candy Company, which soon had hundreds of employees. Paul would go on to marry his wife Catherine and have 2 sons, Otto and Albert. Otto would marry his wife Harriet and also have 2 children, Paul and William. And it would be William, Paul F. Beich's grandson, who would eventually become the president of the company and marry Catherine McNulta. In 1952, Catherine suggested a program for clubs and churches to fundraise by selling their candies. A subsidiary of the company was formed, named Catherine A. Beich Company, and it became one of the nation's oldest and largest fundraising supply businesses. Laffy Taffy was created in the 1970s by the Beich Candy Company. Before Laffy Taffy, they sold the Beich Whiz Bar, a popular chocolate-covered marshmallow candy. Originally, Laffy Taffy was called Beich's Caramels with the flavor's name in the middle, such as Beich's Banana Caramels, even though the candy contained no actual caramel. This candy was thick, square in shape, and wrapped in a color that helped identify its flavor, such as, for example, red for strawberry. Customers also had the opportunity to buy bulk orders of the candy with multiple flavors. These included flavors like cherry, grape, and sour apple. And hence, the problem was remedied when it changed to Beich's Laffy Taffy. The name fit doubly, describing the candy's texture and the jokes inside the wrapper. Jokes have been written in the wrapper since the beginning, with many having been written and sent in by children. It's not known where the idea to add jokes came from, but it's clear that they succeeded in amusing their customers. Beich Candy stayed in the family until 1984, when finally William Beich retired and sold the company to Nestle, along with Beich's Laffy Taffy and the product recipe. After its purchase, the company's name was changed to Catherine Beich Incorporated, a Nestle company. However, the product of Laffy Taffy was transferred to Nestle's other subsidiary, the Willy Wonka Candy Company. This is where Laffy Taffy really took off. Upon taking the reins of the brand, Nestle dropped the old company from the name, leaving it simply as Laffy Taffy. From here, Nestle helped grow Laffy Taffy into a massive success, including a major focus on the iconic jokes on the inside of the wrapper. They also developed new and exciting products like Laffy Taffy bars and Laffy Taffy mystery flavors. So, considering the complex evolution this candy saw, let's talk about what Laffy Taffy is actually made of. And as you might imagine, that recipe has changed drastically over the years. You see, rather than containing the same simple ingredients of years past, Laffy Taffy has a cocktail of additives and flavoring, making the final product very different from the original classic taffy. But to the best of our research, it's mainly made up of corn syrup sugar and either hydrogenated coconut or palm oil. But in addition to that, the candy also contains this wide list of ingredients that I'll put up on screen here, but there is less than 2% of each ingredient in a piece of Laffy Taffy. Malic acid is a food additive that helps create the sour taste present in fruits. Monoglycerides and diglycerides are fats present in food and are usually few in number. Depending on the flavor, blue 1, red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 are added after the taffy has been pulled. Laffy Taffy are now much flatter and rectangular when compared to its thicker, square shape of the past. And these days, the candy comes in a very wide variety, such as grape strawberry, watermelon, chocolate mousse, orange sorbet, pumpkin donuts, and many more. These flavors helped Laffy Taffy market to a younger audience, using an exaggerated and whimsical advertising style under Willy Wonka. You may recall that the candy was often featured in television commercials, with one in particular featuring Daffy Duck of Looney Tunes for a rather spectacular cross-promotion. Laffy Taffy has also made it into hip-hop history, with D4L's song, Laffy Taffy, hitting number 1 on the Billboard's Hot 100 in 2006. Although the song wasn't associated with Nestle, it served as free advertisement for the brand. In 2018, Nestle sold the branding and production rights of the Willy Wonka Candy Company to the Ferrero Group, maker of Nutella and that famous delicious chocolate. And the price tag? A whopping $2.8 billion. As a result, the Nestle Wonka brand was discontinued along with all of its candies, including Laffy Taffy, during the transition to the Ferrero Company. However, the pause was only temporary, as the acquired brands were then folded into the operations of the new company, and a subsidiary of the Ferrero Group was formed with further plans to reinvest in 2020. Since the purchase, Ferrara has promoted the brand with a variety of contests and events. They regularly celebrated National Laugh Day on March the 18th, with fan-submitted clips of laughs on their website and events held in comedy clubs. Then, in May of 2018, they announced a joke contest in which fans could submit clips of them telling 3 jokes to the Laffy Taffy website, with a chance that those jokes could show up on the actual candy. The winner of the competition would receive $10,000 and the title of Chief Laugh Officer. They hosted a similar competition in 2022, but the jokes were instead submitted to the website via text and judged by rapper T-Pain based on originality, humor, and alignment with Laffy Taffy's values. Out of the over 6,500 submissions, one winner received $5,000 and was flown to LA for a game night with actor and television host Mario Lopez. The top 101 entries were also included into the pool of jokes that got published on Laffy Taffy Rappers. The jokes have a special importance to Laffy Taffy. Not only are they family friendly and enjoyable by all, but they are also brand builders, adding to the overall appeal. That's why it's all the more surprising that Ferrara announced they would retire 15 of its most iconic jokes to turn them into and give them away as exclusive NFTs. The startling decision in 2021 would see these jokes removed from circulation as they make their way onto the Bitsky blockchain wallet infrastructure as a part of the Laffy Taffy Original Jokes NFT collection. Now, fans would be able to own one of the 120 NFTs featuring multiple versions of the same joke with vintage character art of the brand's different flavors. Fans could visit Laffy Taffy's NFT site to claim them on a first-come, first-served basis, giving them a piece of candy history. Since then, all the NFTs have been claimed. They continued their limited time events with The Last Laugh, which was their first ever card game released in 2023, with only 500 copies available via giveaway. In 2019, Laffy Taffy took their joking reputation further by making fans think the beloved banana flavor had gone missing as a part of an April Fool's prank. In collaboration with actor and comedian Joel McHale, they brought attention to the flavor's absence 1 week before April 1st, only to later reveal a special banana-only Laffy Taffy bag, with 61% of Americans reporting that banana Laffy Taffy was their favorite flavor. It was certainly a sweet surprise. Other products include Laffy Taffy ropes, which are basically cords of Laffy Taffy that are equivalent to eating a handful of candy pieces. There have also been single flavor bags of mini Laffy Taffies, Laffy Taffy jelly beans, and not to mention the stretchy and tangy variety, which is even stretchier than the original. Laffy Taffy has also ventured into non-food products with Laffy Taffy flavored lip balm made by Taste Beauty, a company that makes candy-flavored beauty products. There are also Laugh Bites, which are mini morsels of Laffy Taffy in a hard shell and launched to massive acclaim in 2020. So we might very well conclude that however you enjoy Laffy Taffy, the brand has a version made just for you. A notion I'd like to put to the test. So, time for a taste test. We have banana, we have strawberry, and apple, not to mention cherry. I don't know how much of this I'm supposed to eat as an adult, so we'll just try a little bit of each one, and I'll let you know if the impression still holds up. I see why people eat this. That's really good. So let's check the joke. What can open doors and is full of letters? Keys. I don't get that. Banana. As a kid, I could imagine I wouldn't like banana. Oh, but as an adult, all right, now this one doesn't taste too natural, but it's good all the same. What's the joke here? What type of briefcase packs a punch? Boxer brief. Whoa. This reminds me of summertime at the pool. What kind of time doesn't need a clock? Face-to-face time. All right, guys. I think I should leave it there. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section what episode you'd like to see next. Until next time, I'm Ryan Socash for Eats History.